Okay, here's some text messages from preacher boy Danny that you could tell he's a freaking demon. And my heart goes out to these women that had to put up with him and be mistreated like that. I don't know what it is, but I probably would have freaking, well, let's just say I wouldn't have been so nice. But anyways, let's just listen. She made this video, so I'm just copying it so everybody could see it and realize. I hope his subscribers see it and realize how just a demon he is. Oh, they're wicked. He is as holy as Abraham. She calls him Lord and he says, thank you. Oh, God. You will obey me or leave. Did you guys see that? Do never speak a word against me and that I have a demon. Yes, you do have a demon, Danny. I am your husband and your Lord. I am king. Oh. Oh, my stomach turns with this. It just makes me sick. I am perfect. Remember, he's perfect. She just wants to lay her head down for the night. He says no. He says, get lost, you whore. Oh, my God.
You can watch the rest of that video. It is right here. I have another video I want to show you of Daniel John Lee as well. I had a description though. I want to show you the video just to show you. I might have a part 3. Again, there's plenty of stuff out there. I just want to, show you that this guy isn't to be trusted. Let's see, let's do this video. I think I showed it in my description when my title for the YouTube video I made was called Daniel John Lee Exposed, but here we go.
Shalom, this is Daniel John Lee with Torah Restoration Ministries. It's early Sunday morning, October the 22nd, 2017. It is now the second day of the 8th new moon. Second day of the 8th Hebrew month of new beginnings. It's a work day, first day of the week. As I arose this morning and had my prayer time, Yahweh spoke to me. He said, go to the train station. Go to the Amtrak train. Go to the Amtrak train station. I'm going to drop my phone there, sorry. Yah just blessed me with this Apple iPhone, so I'm still... Anyway, he spoke to me. He said, go to the Amtrak train station. So I did. And I ran right into my wife. She was right there. Cindy K. Phillips, now Cindy K. Lee. You can find her on Facebook. Anyway, she was standing there and she was puffing on a cigarette. And she was sort of in this sort of, I don't know, serpent type spirit, because she was all like, and she was talking to two sinners. And anyway, I went right up to her and I said, have you repented yet? And she said, no, I'm going home. I'm going back to Tennessee. And I said, okay, well, just know that you're leaving your lawful husband and you're in rebellion. And if you were to die right now, you would go to the lake of fire, and you're not going to avoid that fate until you humble yourself, you repent, you come back to Yahshua of Nazareth, and you return to your husband, who's me. And she said, I fully understand what you're saying. And that was it. And I walked away. So my hands are clean. I've done all I can. She's wicked. And she's about to get on the Greyhound bus up at the Union train station, which is like a 5-minute drive from my house. And she's going back to Tennessee in rebellion. And this is a shadow picture of the church right now, because there's a lot of people in the church body who claim to be Christians, claim to be Messianics, and they're doing things their own way. They're not obeying the Torah. They're not walking in the Spirit. Pastor Rick and Elder Dale Cornerstone, they're pretending that they love God. They're pretending that they have to, but they're in rebellion. They're wicked. And so this is a shadow picture. What my wife is doing is a shadow picture of the body of Messiah. Not everyone, but a large segment of the body of Messiah right now is behaving like my wife is behaving. And you're doing your own thing. You have all the religious talk, but you're puffing on those spiritual cigarettes, and you have sin in your life. You haven't gotten all the sin out. 1 John 3:6-9 is a basic doctrine. You got to get all the sin out. Jesus Christ sets us free from all sin. Yahshua of Nazareth, if he's living inside you, then you're loving him with everything in you, and you're loving your neighbors yourself. Guess what? If you're doing those things, you can't possibly be sinning at the same time. You're either loving him or you're in sin. And most of you in the body of Messiah right now, you claim with your lips that you love him, but your heart's far from him, and you're still walking in sin. Even those of you who preach sinlessness, you're not keeping Torah. You're going to church on Sunday. You're eating pork. You're keeping Easter and Christmas. Give me a break. So this is for Christians and Messianics. What my wife is doing is a picture of the body of Messiah right now. She is in rebellion. She is going back home. She just wants to do things her own way rather than to submit to her authority, which is me. Because 1 Corinthians 11 says, the head of a husband is Christ, and the head of every wife is her husband. So rather than submit to her authority, she wants to just do her own thing and yet still pretend to be religious. I mean, she was still wearing her tzitzit, her head covering. I mean, ridiculous. Anyway, I think maybe this is a prophetic picture that the Great Tribulation is headed our way. Because I was thinking about, as wonderful as it was that Jackie and Jill came and prayed with me, it's great that they prayed with me. I'm very edified and blessed by that. But all the prayers in the world won't matter if the leadership, namely Pastor Rick and Dale, if they harden their hearts and don't repent. And I was thinking, Jackie and Jill. It reminded me of the poem, Jack and Jill. Well, I looked up the poem, Jack and Jill. And it actually says, it's a poem based off, I think, King Louis XV and his wife, and they got beheaded. And Jack and Jill was sort of a poetic play on words about their beheading. They got beheaded. And I thought, well, that's what happens to the martyrs. The 6/7 of the bride, they don't prepare their garments except for Smyrna. 6/7 of the bride, other than Philadelphia, they don't prepare their garments, and so they have to go to the Great Tribulation. They have to get their heads chopped off, martyrdom. And I thought, well, maybe even the fact that Jack and Jill came is another sign that Yah's saying, you know what? The martyrdom is coming because my bride refuses to wake up, so I'm going to have to put her through the Great Tribulation and chop off their heads in order for them to finally come back to their first love. So I don't know. So it may be now that I'm getting two prophetic pictures, both from yesterday and today, showing that the Great Tribulation is going to start next winter. I don't know. If it does not, it will happen on some Adar bet, and I believe it will happen on some Adar bet in the next 10 years, for sure. But, boy, with what my wife is doing today and what, the fact that it was Jack and Jill that came out to meet with me, it just seems like Yah's giving me a double prophetic picture that the bride of Messiah, the only way Yah's going to be able to wake up the bride of Messiah at this point is to put her through the Great Tribulation. So we'll see what happens over these next 4 months as we lead up to Purim on March 2nd and 3rd of 2018. I tried to make a video yesterday morning on Shabbat morning, but the audio didn't work, so I deleted it. But if we're really going to see the Great Tribulation begin on Purim, then over the next 4 months, we should see some very major things happen. Like on Hanukkah, we should see some sort of temple or altar or something set up in Jerusalem where the animal sacrifices will start being done. And it'll be a completely apostate temple, of course. Which, in order for that to happen, you've got to have a major shift in the Middle East, whether it's through war or peace or whatever, but you've got to have a major geopolitical shift just in Israel and the surrounding Arab countries, Muslim countries. So you'd have to have that happen, maybe around Hanukkah, because Hanukkah is all about the temple and rededicating the temple. They've got everything ready for the third temple. They've got all the stuff prefabricated. They just got to set it up. In fact, Netanyahu and the Israeli government control now the temple now. They've taken it out from the hands of the Waqf because of what happened last summer, although things cooled down again. But they never gave it back to the Waqf. People don't know that. So they have control of the temple now. They just have to put their stuff up there. So we would see something like that. We would see the four trumpets. The first four trumpets would have to go forth in the next 4 months, which are pretty major cataclysmic events, either describing a nuclear war or describing an asteroid and comet. I'm not sure, but you'd have to have those four trumpets blast in the next 4 months because all those have to happen before the fifth trumpet, which is the abomination of desolation. That's when the Son of Perdition begins. So you'd have to have all those four things happen. You'd have to have that sixth seal, great earthquake shake the earth, in the next 4 months. So you'd have to have a lot of things happen in the next 4 months in order for the Great Tribulation to actually start on Purim or around Purim next year. So, by the time we get there, we should know. In fact, I think that February 10th, 2018, which is the 24th day of the 11th Hebrew month this next year, that's the day that Zechariah receives most of his revelation. Other than the first 6 verses of Zechariah, he receives most of his revelation at the end times on that day, the 24th day of the 11th Hebrew month. And I'm wondering if that's the day, February 10th, when the body of Messiah, whether they're backslidden or not, they're going to suddenly realize, uh-oh, we're headed toward the Great Tribulation that was prophesied in the book of Revelation. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm not going to set dates. But it sure does seem like it, just with my own personal life, you know, it being a prophetic shadow picture, and that's how Yah speaks to me a lot of times. So, all right, well, this is Daniel John Lee with Torah Restoration Ministries, website spiritandtorah.com. Have a wonderful new week, work week, as we continue to work the fields to bring as many people to Yahshua of Nazareth as possible.